Hello, I'm Jim Demlin with Clark County Close-Up. Thank you so much for meeting with us.
You're welcome.
Let's start with some background information about the Commission on Aging. When and why was it created?
The commission was created in 2012 because the county commissioners realized that it was true in Clark County what was true across the nation. 10,000 people a day were turning 65 beginning in 2010, and the trend was going to continue until 2030 or 2032. So the question is Clark County ready for that?
So it was really, the purpose was to address this growing age of
The silver
our citizens.
tsunami, as it is called.
Okay. How many are currently on the commission?
There's 9 members. We were created after a 24-month study by the county council, and it drew people across the county, social workers, human service council, and others, and created an aging readiness report, and that's our job. All 9 of us are supposed to focus on implementing that, and that's what we've been doing since then.
Are the backgrounds of the board members as varied as when you first started?
Yeah, like when we focus on transportation, there tends to be people interested in that, and housing tends to be that, so it kind of follows that. But the consistent thread is people are over 65 or know somebody who's 65 and they're just interested.
Okay. So you mentioned back in 2012 the Aging Readiness Plan. What are some of the elements of this plan?
It has 4 main elements: housing, supportive services, transportation, and healthy communities. So in 2016, we developed the idea of an in-depth year-long study on each one of those. And 2016 was housing. So we had experts come in each month from the housing community, like the BIA, like Aging in Place, architect, people like that could instruct us on what kind of housing is there, and we could instruct them on what kind of housing we wanted.
What are some of the special needs? What are some things that they should consider when building housing for seniors?
So almost 90% of people want to age in their own place. For one thing, it's less expensive. So to age in place, it's better if you have a no-step entry, little wider doorways, a bathroom on the first level, and ideally a radius in the bathroom where a wheelchair could be accommodated if needed. So those features are called visitability. But what we advocate in housing is universal design. And we have a brochure that we got from AARP where it's the Home Fit Guide. It's a way to make your own home more age-friendly as you get older. And for new homes, we would like for all new builders to make sure that all new homes are aging in place friendly, because the same needs of older people are the same needs of younger people. It's convenient to take a wheelchair in a wider doorway. It's also more convenient for a baby carriage or somebody on crutches. As one of our builders told us, nobody complains about too much accessibility.
Good point. So it really benefits all ages.
That's right.
All your plans. And so each year you study a different element, and then you make recommendations for the county to consider.
So what we ask the county to do is to provide incentives for builders to, when they build homes, that they would have an incentive of some kind to put those features in. Because most houses now, because land is such a premium, the higher the story, the better. So what we would really like is to, at least for the first floor, to be livable. And then the second floor, if there's stairs and so forth, that's okay. But just to be able to live on the first floor. We've had some success with that. There are some incentives. The county also passed a new ordinance about accessory dwelling units, so that there's a way to do an add-on to your own house, much like the Home Fit Guide that we just discussed.
Okay. And as you tackle each of these subjects during the year, you have monthly presentations?
And then every January, we present our annual report to the county councilors.
And we're going to plug this at the end, but all these elements are found on the Commission on Aging website, as well as CBTV's covered the majority of these,
Yes,
so
that's
people
right.
can watch those as well. But the public is invited to come to attend any of these sessions?
Yeah, and actually our meetings kind of depends on the topic, but the year we studied housing, we had people attend a meeting sometimes because they were afraid they'd be ousted from their rental property. We had people come that knew somebody was homeless, as one person put it. A friend of mine was just, her home was just reduced to a hefty bag. So we saw all kinds of needs, but it helped us understand that what we were advocating for, things for seniors, are reaching real people. So that was 2016, and 2017 then we studied supportive services.
So what is supportive services?
So one of the major agencies around now that helps people with aging services is the Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities of Southwest Washington. So they were a partner through that whole year. And it's things like Meals on Wheels, or people come to your home and do an evaluation, what you might need with PT or OT. Also, there's caregiver support through AAA. What we learned as members of the commission is that aging doesn't necessarily affect, you don't necessarily, as you age, experience anxiety and depression, but you're more prone to it. So we learned the importance of keeping your brain alive. Like a crossword puzzle might get one area of your brain alive, but taking a long walk would get another area of your brain stimulated. So you need to keep constant socialization is yet another area of the brain. So keeping that brain active, because we learned that if you're 65, you have a 10% chance of dementia. If you're 75, you have a 35% dementia possibility. And if you're 85, it's 50%. So the longer you keep your brain active, the better off you're going to be and the more independent.
So socialization, I mean, being active with groups, puzzles, physical activity, that's all part of the method. And then you developed a report following that?
And what we learned is there are not enough memory care facilities in Clark County. So we reported that to the county council. It's not like they can make a bunch be built, but they can let builders know that are coming that that is one of the areas of need. It's not just so-called retirement homes, but also memory care homes. One of the other things the Human Service Council has a reserve a ride service for people who are in their home and need to get to a medical appointment. So those are one of our good partners. So we recommended just keeping those alliances, and the county's real good with that. The county also has good alliances with C-TRAN, and public health, of course, is important. So it's just part of it we found is there's a lot of services available, but very few people know how to tap into them. And one way to start is to call the Commission on Aging, another is to call the area agency, and you can reach somebody that can put you in touch with those services.
Okay. Now, last year you did transportation, correct? What were some of the findings there?
Transportation is a big one. I mean, anybody that's driven around Clark County lately has experienced the same thing. It's hard to go from one end of the county up in north, south, east, or west, and to get across the river. We realized, and planners probably know this kind of thing, but we realized that for 100 years we've really created an environment for a car. And now there's really too many cars and too many people on the road at the same time. So part of our job is, and actually we found out C-TRAN has a program called a Travel Ambassador Program to help people who are older. They give this number a call. They'll teach them how to ride the buses. Because what most people are afraid of, they don't know how to use it. But another obstacle is that first the quarter mile to the transit and the quarter mile back when you come. So one of the things we looked at was mobility, universal mobility as a service. And ideally that would be a platform, a framework, so to speak, that would integrate all the network providers, public and private. There would be one overall platform that could coordinate, and you'd be able to go online to this platform or be able to call a number and figure out how to plan your trip from the time you leave the house to get where you're going and back, including paying for parking. Now that's a ways out there, but that's the kind of thing that's going to get people out of their cars.
And this booklet we're showing is on the Commission on Aging website, as well as your annual report regarding transportation.
And actually the person who wrote that was our keynote speaker at our summit this year. So
what are you looking at this year?
We're looking at healthy communities.
Okay, tell us about that.
Oh boy, that's fun. So the other day we had 2 urban forestry experts come, one from the city of Vancouver and one from the city of Camas. And we learned all about tree canopies and the importance of, well, we're a naturally beautiful area out here. But as there's more and more development, some of us look at those trees and there's more laying down than going up. So the ideal urban tree canopy, that's the number of trees, is about 40% for the Northwest. And we're way under that. So we are aggressively looking at way to plant trees as well as preserve trees. So trees are good for reducing carbon dioxide and ozone. They're also good for stormwater, but they also make us feel good. And part of aging in place is having an environment that we choose to live in, getting out to those parks and trails, getting, you know, whether you get there on mass transit or you go in your car, we hope there's fewer and fewer car trips, but people have to get outside and enjoy the place. That will help keep them on point, so to speak.
And so, and I think you have some, what are some other topics you have for the remainder of the year with the healthy communities?
And a big part of that is healthy foods.
Okay.
So we have some people come to talk about that, I think actually in June.
Okay. All right. And these meetings, monthly meetings, do they take place all at the County Public Service Center?
Uh-huh.
In the hearings room.
They're all open to the public. And it's kind enough of CVTV to tape those for us and put them on subsequently.
And does it happen, I forget which day of the month it happens?
It recently changed from a Tuesday, so now it's the 3rd Wednesday of every month.
3rd Wednesday of every month. So, and 3rd month, and again, 3rd Wednesday, people can come. It's on cvtv.org.
4:30.
Now, and if people want more information about the Commission on Aging, they can check the Commission on Aging website at clark.wa.gov/aging, and that'll get all the materials you just talked about. There's also a number here, 564-397-4913, and I believe that's Jackie Camp's telephone number.
Correct.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about the Commission on Aging?
You know, it's been fun. I've been on 5 years now. And what we've learned is things that are good for older, what older need, younger people want. And I've come to learn that we're one of the most forward-looking groups around because we're always thinking about what's next. I think when you get to a certain point of life and you have fewer tomorrows than yesterdays, you're even more excited about tomorrow. So since I've been on, we've had a person get married, we've had a person have a baby, so we have a lot of fun too.
Oh, that's great. Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.